Hey guys, Adam here with AmericanMuscle.com, and today we're taking a closer look at installing and dyno testing the Roush Cold Air Intake kit with the Bama Rev-X Tuner with 2 custom tunes available for the 2015 to 17 Mustang GT. Before we get into all the details of this kit, what do you say we take a look at the important stuff, the dyno numbers? Now we strapped it down and established a baseline run with our 2015 GT before installing the intake and tune, so let's head over to the graph. Well guys, of course we strapped down our 15 GT to the dyno to establish a baseline run before installing anything. Factory intake, factory tune on 93 octane, walked away with 382 horsepower, 359 foot-pounds of torque at the rear wheels. We then of course uninstalled our factory intake, threw our Roush option on, installed the Bama 93 octane tune, ran it under the same conditions in 5th gear, and walked away with 408 horsepower and 380 foot-pounds of torque at the rear wheels. That's good for peak gains of about 26 horsepower and 21 foot-pounds of torque at the rear. Now, curve gains get even more impressive, right? The peak gains are right on par with pretty much what Roush claims you'd get with a 93 tune like this one, but the curve gains are even better. Now, we're seeing the curve at the higher end of the RPM band, around 5,300 RPMs. We're walking away with 34 and 33 torque respectively at the rear wheels. Now, those are really the impactful numbers that'll change your driving experience. The curve gains are arguably a little bit more important. Now, with this being higher than what Roush is claiming, I'm very happy with the results here, and we're seeing really good gains across the entire RPM band. Now, the Roush portion of this kit has the Roush Cold Air Intake, which is one of the more premium cold air intakes in the category. It's got a little bit more to it with the heat shield, does a way better job sealing under the hood to prevent all the engine bay heat from soaking in, while also pulling in more cold air with a new air duct going right into your front grille. So I really like the Roush option here, again, being one of the more premium options. The filter itself is washable and reusable dry filter as opposed to an oiled, so it doesn't require as much maintenance. I'll break that down in more detail later on, taking a look at that, comparing it to the factory one. In addition to the filter, it also comes with an optional Venturi Tube. With that tube installed, it is a no tune required intake. You can bolt it right up and go without worrying about this with an 85mm MAF housing. Take that tube out and it does require a tune because it upgrades it to a 105mm MAF housing, one of the larger ones in the category. So you should be looking at this Roush one if you're looking to get that optional bigger air inlet for your MAF housing. Combine that with the Bama Rev-X Tuner, you're getting an 87 and a 93 race tune to make sure you're maximizing these bolt-on mods. Now say you have an intake, catback, long tube, so on and so forth. This custom tune is specific to your vehicle to maximize all of their potential. The cool thing about this device is you're also getting enrolled in the Bama Free Tunes for Life program. Anytime you add any power adders, you can get a tune revised from Bama for free for the lifetime you have this device and your vehicle paired. You also get a number of other features with the Rev-X device: gauges and data logging capabilities, a DTC code reader, Wi-Fi access, so on and so forth, and I'm going to show you that in just a little bit. This kit here comes in right around $750, so it's a good deal if you're trying to get an intake and a tune. You can get them right in a combo kit, and the install gets 1 out of 3 wrenches on our difficulty meter. Anybody can tackle it in the driveway at home, and I'd say about an hour, maybe 2 from start to finish with very simple hand tools. I'm going to take you through every step of the way. We're going to start with breaking down that cold air intake and installing that, and we'll talk about the tune. Now the tools used in this install include an impact gun or a ratchet, an extension, 7, 8, 10 and 17mm deep sockets, along with a T15 Torx bit. All right guys, first step here is to remove the battery cover. So we're just gonna pop that off. If you guys have some of those push pin clips, there's an open hole here and here. Ours are already removed, so I'm just gonna set this out of the way. Grab your 17mm deep socket and your impact gun and remove the 2 bolts on each side, holding on your strut tower brace. Starting on your passenger side, we're gonna pop the strut tower brace off. Now, as you can see, the positive terminal wire is in the way, so you wanna make sure you're lifting up and away from that. All right, and set it aside. Now we can take our engine cover off. Now for this, you're really just lifting straight up. There are 4 little pins holding it in. You just pop them out of place, set that aside. Next up, we're gonna disconnect our mass airflow sensor. You wanna go underneath, pull back the red locking tab, pinch, and disconnect. Here's that red locking tab. Really just will push down, you can pull back on it and it'll unlock. Next up, we have 4 PCV hoses that are connected to the air intake tubing. We're just gonna pull back and disconnect all of them. Some of them may have a little locking tab, like this one here has a little gray tab you pull back to disconnect. And finally, our sound tube. Grab your 7mm socket and you're gonna loosen up the clamp holding your tubing to the throttle body. Now there might be a couple hoses in the way, so just push them out of the way and loosen that up. All right, now you can grab a 10mm socket and we're gonna remove the bolt holding on your factory heat shield to the inner wheel well. This is one of those situations you just wanna be careful you don't drop it in the engine bay. All right, at this point you can pull back on the tubing to disconnect it from the throttle body and lift straight up, making sure that your MAF harness is out of the way, and pull it out of the vehicle. We finally got our factory 2015 GT intake off the car on the table next to our Roush Cold Air Intake kit, and I want to take you through some of the similarities, but mainly the big differences between the two, starting with our filter. Now I took the factory paper element filter out of the housing to show you guys what that looks like. This here is a very traditional factory-friendly filter that you'll see from a lot of guys from Ford, from Chevy. They all use similar filters like this one. It's a flat, dry paper element. It's not reusable, it's not washable. It's really gonna require a lot of maintenance when it comes time for you to swap those filters out. Now, upgrading to your cold air intake kit from Roush, you get a dry filter. It's a conical filter though, which is washable and reusable. Now this dry filter is gonna do wonders for pulling in the most cold air possible, really maximizing your cold air flow, while also blocking out a lot more particles than your factory paper element ever could. Now this one being washable and reusable, all you have to do is pop it out, hit it with some pressurized air to get all the dust out, throw it right back in. Dry filters don't require as much maintenance as an oiled filter would, so that's something to keep in mind when shopping in the category. There's a lot of options. Out of the box, it's pre-assembled just like this, but if you need to bolt it up, it's very simple. 2 bolts here, weather stripping around the edges. The Roush kit here does have one of the more premium heat boxes in the category, with the exception of some of the completely closed options. This one is utilizing a roto-molded plastic, which is very impact resistant, very durable, and it's gonna dissipate engine bay heat a lot better than some of the other options. And the weather stripping you see on the top here is going to completely seal in that filter underneath the hood, blocking out all of the excess engine bay heat, just focusing on pulling in that cold air from this duct here. Now, because this is a flat top here, it's gonna seal in a lot better than some of the less premium, more budget-friendly options out there. So the heat shield from Roush, really premium stuff. What I also like about it is it does come with a new air duct. Now the air duct is what's gonna sit in front of your grill, and it's gonna scoop down right to your upper grill to pull in all the cold air from the front end of your vehicle. Some of the aftermarket options out there won't offer this, and it'll just be an open filter, which means it's more susceptible to heat and it's not pulling in the most from your grill. This attaches right on to the front here to go right into that spot. So I really like this included in the kit. Really gives Roush one up over some of the competition. The filter, again, another molded plastic, comes with all the new couplers. Now the Venturi Tube, when this is inserted into the other MAF housing you see here, you insert it from the filter side, that's gonna cause it to be an 85mm MAF housing, not requiring a tune. So if you don't wanna use a tune, use this insert. Now, if you do want to use a tune and you want it to be a tune required to get the most gains, take this tube out. We're not going to install that. That turns it into a 105mm MAF housing. Most of them in the category have a 95mm option, so this one being larger is going to pull in a lot more cold air, again, requiring a tune. So because we want to maximize things for this video, we're not going to be inserting that. Because most of this came assembled for us right out of the box, what we're going to start with is transferring over our factory MAF sensor into this housing here. We're not going to be using our Venturi Tube because we do want to upload our tune and get the most that we can out of this kit. Guys, grab a T15 Torx bit and we're going to remove the 2 factory Torx bit screws holding on our MAF sensor. Now, typically you're not going to need a wrench to break these loose. They are typically hand tight, but if you need one, grab one and give yourself a little bit of a hand. So you're just going to use that bit to screw these out, and then we're going to set our MAF sensor aside. Once you get the 2 screws, cautiously pull that out, set that down. You don't want to damage the MAF sensor because we're reusing it. Set your factory stuff aside. So what we're going to do now is take our factory MAF sensor and insert it into our tubing. It only goes in one way. The screws will only line up to the holes one way. So once you get it in place correctly, grab the screws and we're going to tighten those down into the pre-drilled holes. All right, once you get those tight, we're good to move on. We're going to install our air duct onto the housing. Now for the air duct, you want to snap that on to the cutout here. It's kind of like a puzzle, it only snaps on one way. So you want to find that, press it in, and here it's snap. Now we're ready to put this under the hood. All right, the first step before we jump into the install is we're going to disconnect our sound tube here because it's not going to be retained for our Roush intake. Up here you see a clamp. We're going to grab an 8mm socket and just loosen that up. Once you have that clamp nice and loose, you can pull that tubing off. Now at this point, guys, you want to cap off your sound tube. Now the options you have are to remove this plastic clip holding it in place, remove it all the way from the firewall, and plug it with the 3/8 vacuum cap included in the kit, which is essentially just a rubber grommet that'll plug the hole. We can't show you guys that on camera because it's so deep behind the engine bay, but the other option you have is to find a rubber grommet that'll fit this portion of the tubing here that we have. Now that's not included in the kit. You can go out and pick that up separately or find a way to cap it yourself, or you can do it by going all the way down in the engine bay, which again, we just wouldn't be able to show you. Now from here, what we're gonna do is move on to installing our heat shield. Grab your filter and heat shield combo, slide the air duct in toward the front of your grill, and pop this down into place. You wanna line up the heat shield to the pre-drilled hole and threaded hole in your wheel well where we took that 10mm factory bolt out of. This little rubber grommet and metal isolator you're gonna transfer over from your factory heat shield to here, and we're gonna put that bolt back through. Grab your 10mm socket and tighten that down. Next up, grab your tubing, install it onto the throttle body and onto the intake tubing. Grab your 7mm socket and tighten down your clamps. All right, now we can bring over our MAP sensor harness, plug that in here. Once you have it plugged in, drop the red locking tab so it's in place. Next up, we can take all of our hoses and plug them in. All right, once that's connected, you may need to go under your coolant line there, connect the other ones on the other end. Small hose to the small fitting, large hose to the large fitting. Once you have that taken care of, throw your engine cover back on, strut tower brace, and you're good to go. Now the engine cover, of course, it sits right on top. Just line up those mounting locations and press down. All right, for the strut tower brace, feed it over your passenger side here. Run it under the positive terminal harness and connect it to your studs, and then line up the driver's side as well. All right, grab your 17 socket and tighten these down. Repeat for the other side and you're good to go. First step here, guys, grab the harness included in your Rev-X kit. We're gonna plug it into the OBD2 port underneath our driver's side dashboard on the left-hand side. Once you have that plugged in, plug the other end into the top of your Rev-X device, and we're good to get tuning. All right, from the main menu, you want to hit your start button to turn the ignition on, but don't start your engine. Go into Program Vehicle, confirm your VIN, and just know internet is required if you're going to make any updates or download from the cloud, so you want to hit Continue, verify that, connect to your local Wi-Fi network. You also may want to download your tune file from the cloud. We've already done so. We've got our file already loaded on the device. If your files are not on the cloud, you can simply plug your Rev-X into your computer, use the device updater software from SCT to load your file onto the Rev-X device. All right, so again, we already have our file, so we'll hit skip, continue on the street notice, make sure the vehicle is in on position. From here, you want to select your tune. Now you guys may have several different options here. You have an 87, a 93. We're only going to focus on our 93 one, so I'm going to select 93 race for our Roush intake. we're going to focus on maximizing those gains. So once this loads, it'll ask you if you want to make any additional changes. You can change things like gear ratio, tire size, rev limiter, so on and so forth. Just know it disables that preloaded tune. You hit confirm. If you want to make changes, you can do so now. We're going to hit skip and continue on that. From here, it'll save your stock tune to the device. So if you ever want to revert back to stock, you have the ability to do so. And it'll go right into loading your tune. So make sure you don't unplug the Rev-X and make sure you don't turn off the ignition. It may ask you to turn the key off at some point, so just stand by. Don't unplug the device and just let it do its thing. All right, at this point it's telling us to turn the key off, so hit that button, press continue, hit it back on, continue again. All right, key off, back on. We're going to cycle through that one more time. Key off, back on. It'll clear the DTC codes and then prompt you that the tuning is done. Yep, programming complete, you can hit done, takes you back to the main menu and you're good to go. All right, now from the main menu, I want to take you through some of those features we talked about briefly earlier. Now under program vehicle at the main menu, you see gauges and data log. Now this is going to be pretty crucial for the guys who want to track live engine vitals on the fly. Make sure your key's in the on position, press continue. Now, what this will give you access to is up to 8 engine vitals at once. Now things like air intake temp, coolant temp, voltage, things like that. So there's just a ton, air fuel ratio, there's just a ton that you can track. So right off the bat, we have 3 gauges. We have air intake temp, coolant temp, and then air intake temp again. Say you want to change the bottom air intake temp to, let's find something that we can use. We'll do measured air fuel ratio bank 2. Hit approve. It'll replace that gauge on the bottom with your new vital. Now if you went to the right, you can go down to select gauge layout and select up to 8. There's different layouts, some tracking 1, 2, all the way up to 8. You can also orient it so it's landscape instead of portrait mode. So that's, depends on how you want to mount it on your windshield. If you have a windshield mount, you can also just tuck it away in the center console. You can change any of these, and there's a number of them. You can start recording data logs. So you can record your data logs, send it over to Bama if you want to see how your vehicle's doing, if you want to make any revisions. You can do that here directly on the device. You can select stop data log to take you right back to the main menu. So really useful information there. Vehicle functions, read DTC codes and clear DTC codes, otherwise diagnostic trouble codes. Check engine light comes on, plug this device in without needing any separate device. You can pull this up, read the code, have a description, clear it when you're done. Special functions would be cam relearn. Most guys won't need that. So we'll hit exit. Underneath vehicle info, you click on that, press continue. That'll load your ECU, give you your ECU strategy code, as well as your VIN number, things like that that you need from your vehicle, and you can use that to request new tunes. Device info, similar but more on the device side. So serial number, firmware version, software version. It'll let you know how many unlocks you have left, if your vehicle is paired. Basically, you can unlock this from your vehicle and use it with a different vehicle. You have a certain amount of pairings you need to do, so that will let you know how many unlocks you'll have left. You can hit exit there. Device settings, the top 4 is going to be very useful. Check for updates, cloud file sync, upload data log to cloud, and Wi-Fi. So if you connect to Wi-Fi, you can do that wirelessly, of course. Check for updates without having your laptop or computer needed. and cloud file sync. If Bama uploads your tunes to the cloud, you can access them here once you're connected to Wi-Fi. Basically, that eliminates the need to plug in a USB to your laptop, download the file, upload it to the software updater, put it on your device. Eliminates that. It's a little bit more modern technology. You can do it right here wirelessly. Upload data log to cloud goes the other way. If you're data logged on your Rev-X, you can upload that to the cloud for Bama to access and make revisions if they need to. Under that, brightness, orientation, you can change it again from portrait to landscape, theme. Click on that, change it to light blue if you want to switch things up. Dark blue, light red, so on and so forth. And there's other modes as well as a factory reset to put it back to factory settings. From there, back to the main menu, and that's really your Rev-X in a nutshell. That's going to wrap up my review, install, and dyno testing of the Roush Cold Air Intake kit and the Bama Rev-X Tuner combo for the 15 to 17 GT. And if you want to get this kit, you can do so right here at AmericanMuscle.com.